In this episode, we take a field trip to Mosaic Pianos in Greensboro, North Carolina. We'll talk with owner John Johansen about some of his favorite tools, which also happen to be handmade. I'm Ben Blozan, and this is Inside Pianos. I'd like you to think of a great piano performance you've attended, or your favorite album of piano music. For me, that's probably Chopin's Ballades played by Christian Zimmerman. Just so good. Now, clearly, the composer and pianist deserve most of the credit for these achievements. But in this episode, I want to look further and consider the invisible, often behind-the-scenes army of dedicated piano technicians, without which the subtle magic of these performances would be impossible. What's cool to me is that the same spirit of adventurous creativity and detailed artistry we admire in pianists and composers is also found in the best piano technicians. I think a great way of highlighting this is by exploring their penchant for making their own tools. Part of the fun of being a technician is coming up with your own way of doing things, and it is a sweet sense of satisfaction when you succeed in creating a tool that makes the often redundant and detailed piano tasks a little easier. So here we are at Mosaic Pianos, owned by John Johansen. I consider it to be a literal wonderland that I'm always excited to walk into. First of all, John's way of organizing his shop is itself an artful blend of aesthetics and function. And I know I'm going to see a variety of pianos receiving procedures that go as foundational as you can go. New pin blocks, repairing or replacing soundboards. John Johansen does it all, masterfully. Here he is exhibiting his handmade tools. All right, John, so what do you have here for us?
Well, the first one here is just about my favorite tool and a little bit of nostalgia on it. I made it in school about 20 years ago, and it's a simple tool. It does two things. It's a drop driver and a let-off driver, all in one.
So action adjustments.
Action adjustments, exactly. And this tool, you can buy these tools from piano company catalogs, and when we buy them, they usually fit for a combo handle, as we see here. But what I've done is cut the ends off, put them in a little piece of mahogany dowel, and then put it on a drill press and made it sanded out and everything.
Rather than always having to unscrew one and insert the other.
Yeah. And it's just a nice, you kind of get your...
Does it make a cool like karate sound?
Not yet. Working on it.
All right, what's next?
What's next here is a damper regulating tool. Now this right here, this is what a very nice company puts together for us. But I found with this tool, it had originally started out being a little, almost what I thought was wide at these ends. And so I ground it down so that it would fit more between the damper wires, because originally it had been hitting wires and stuff, and I was kind of having a hard time getting it under strings and whatnot. So I ground it down, and in doing so, it heated up, I suppose. I don't know if it tempered or detempered the metal.
Right.
And as I started using it, it just opened up to where I really couldn't use it much anymore. So I went to the tool drawer and found this Craftsman driver. What would this be? 3/16 driver. Cut the end off and ground the end flat then. I also ground the sides so it has a thinner profile.
Right.
And then from there, on the bench, took a hacksaw and at about this angle, cut a nice little groove in it.
Yeah, and yeah, we'll make it real obvious to the viewers what that's for later. But it looks like you really, really honed in and customized the angle of it.
That's right.
Like in two articulations there.
Yeah, this way I can get under the damper head itself if I need to, or
from the top.
From the top, yeah,
with the action
above
in.
the strings.
Yeah.
Or I can go in and regulate through the key bed on that side right there.
Yeah.
So that's another favorite tool. And
very nice.
Thank you.
Chapter 3.
Chapter 3. When I'm removing the plate out of a piano, a lot of the work we do here is removing pin blocks, replacing pin blocks. And it's difficult to get the pin block or to get the plate height right set where it's supposed to be. Right set where it was, or where you want it to be. Say if the manufacturer was off by a little bit, we can raise the plate a little bit or lower to get the advantage of the proper string height.
Mm-hmm.
So with this, I'm able to bring it up to either the flange in the bass area or the V-bar in the treble. Bring it up tight and then lock it down.
Nice.
And with a wrench, I can tighten it for good. I can throw this in the piano organization box and it's going to stay.
Right.
Same with this. This just has a beefier nut on it. These I got at a automotive fastening company.
Mm-hmm.
And the blocks themselves have been drilled out all the way to about an inch from the bottom, so we can get a really good height on this.
Mm-hmm. What's that thing?
This, just really simple. This is my chipping tool. And when I bring the piano first up to pitch, the notes are everywhere, all over the place. And what I'm able to do with this is go through, dampers aren't in place yet, and able to pluck each string, verify where it is in tune, and bring it up with the tuning hammer. Nice thing about this, I can just rest my hand on the strut, pluck the string, and move on. It's a nice length in that
All right.
it can just sort of sit there, so
These
I don't have
things
to worry about
count.
dropping.
You know, when you're doing something as monotonous as stringing, just having that comfort of use.
That's
It
so
adds
true.
up.
This is a piece of quarter-sawn maple from a bridge cap, and so it will not break unless I really step on it or anything.
Right.
The other side of this tool, you can see that's a piece of hammer felt that I cut off into that little shape. In chipping the bass section, we get so much sustain. I'll take that and knock that down so that when I go to the next note, I'm not picking up on that note still in sustain.
Right. Super cool. So that's a small peek into the world of homemade piano tools. If you're a technician and you want to share your invention, please do so in the comments below. Also, let me know if there are any piano-related topics you would be interested in me covering. And lastly, if you find my content entertaining, informative, or just amusingly dorky, hit the subscribe button and the like button, and I'll appreciate your support.